Okay, let me start the class. And sorry for late setting, but the projector seems not working, so I'm going to explain just like this. And please refer the own slides. Okay. So we are going to practice and implement the prompt engineering for robot planning. Go to slide 2. So today's object consists of two phases. First is LLM API call. We should call the Gemini API to query the LLM and get answers from the internet. And when we get the responses, we have to transform into robot actions. Next page. So how to set up and get the files from the project. First, we are going to install a virtual environment, Conda, mini Conda. So referring the URLs, download mini Conda and install it, following the commands. And after install mini Conda, make virtual environment, Conda create n, and get into the virtual environment following the commands Conda activate. Activating the Conda environment, you are going to enter to the virtual environment so that you use the libraries in the virtual environment. After you entered the Conda environment, you should install packages, NumPy, Google GenAI, and OpenCV Python. For who didn't download the revised version of lecture slides, there is some update. Google GenAI has updated, so we are going to use older version, 1.50.1. So we should explicitly set the version to 1.50.1. And we are going to go to the Google AI Studio. Next slide. How to make API key. Entering the Google AI Studio, click Dashboard, click API key. There is some default project, so click API key and check your API key. Using this API key, you should copy and paste into your robot so that you use the accounts LLM. It is free, so don't worry. And from the link provided in slides, download files from Google Drive to local so that the files exist like the slides, download files. Put LLM planning folder in the home directory and put D6A files in action groups into existing the software RPC action groups, which is used in manipulations too. There are some overlapped existing files, but they act like they do the same things, so you can overlap the files. And next, how to set the API key. Open ZSHRC using Vim ZSHRC and press I to enter the edit mode in Vim. And go to last line and type like export API key equals to your API key. After typing, for who is not familiar to Vim, save and get out from the Vim editor using ESC and :WQ enter. Okay, search for Vim. And to activate this API key, you should type source ZSHRC and check whether the API key is saved to command echo API key. And because the bash is reloaded, we should type conda activate again and move on to check the code. We have capture camera, test Gemini, and some things. First, to activate the robot and run the robots, we should turn on the capture camera file when we activate. And to test whether the Gemini is act well, we can run test Gemini at one time And if nothing runs for camera or actions, you can reset your robot or type ROS launch bring up to boot the ROS again. And next slide, I'm going to explain how the code flows goes. In this program, we have two phases. This comprises with two phases. The first phase is to check and explore where the cube is and what colors of cube is. Second phase is actually activate given the test goal. So in phase one, what we are going to do is, after getting prompt, what is environment and what we have to do, the robot plans how to explore the environments of surroundings. So when we look at phase one, we ask and save action list. We have to process it. And for going to for loop, we are going to execute action group, which is used in manipulation. And after we execute the exploration action, with each actions, we are going to add analysis response into current query, and this will be used in phase two. Phase two, we are going to ask Gemini one more time with what we got in phase one, and the Gemini plan again. And in the for loop, the robot actions one more time. So the prompt is look like the next slide. There consists of three main prompts: environment description, test goal, and output. So the environment description and output should be changed by yours, and you're going to edit this to success the test goal. And test goal is now fixed to this sentence, and what we are going to explain later in detail. The test goal will be changed by TA to test and score how well the prompts are engineered. So it should output like the example: look right, look center, look left, and it should execute that corresponding execution action group files. So today's lab objective is to complete tmx submission.py and fill the prompt regarding test goal. To complete the test goal, you should not change test goal prompt because it will be given when the TAs score your grades. And there's some tip. You should be careful about these things. First one is you can change almost anything except for test goal prompt, but you can test with another test goal too. And second one is you should call Gemini multiple times. And in this case, whenever you ask Gemini, it has no memory. So if you want to remember the previous answers, you should give them the previous answers and questions again. And third thing is the very important. There is an input token limitation which is introduced in last week. There are some models, Gemini Flash, Flashlight, and something. And in each models, it has like per minute limitation and per day limitation and tokens limitation. So please check the limitation of the LLM. And as you know, if we just ask the LLM, it will respond a lot of answers, so long answers. So you should prompt and type carefully. Okay. So please read Gemini API to use Gemini well. Yeah. And submission, you are enough to submit just teamx submission.py by email. One submit per team is sufficient. This assignment is worth a total of 40 points. trace performance accounts for 20 points, which is, what's that? Pick up and place all cubes in front of the center. And TAs will run 5 more random tasks with each correct answer worth 4 points, so totally 20 additional points. Okay? It will be random, like in the examples. And deadline, as it's Friday, so until the next Friday, and no late submission allowed. Is there any questions? Okay,